Howdy, folks. Okay, in our last video, we covered the very first things that you need to do when you are setting up the Apollo.io application so that you're putting your best foot forward, right? Today, we're going to do another video similar to that, and we're going to give you some examples of how to set up your contact and account stages. And the reason we want to put a really good amount of thought into this before we just go start prospecting and grabbing data out of the database and all those things is going to save you a lot of headache later on in life once you have all this data and it's all been moved around and you've done all this outreach and you've got prospects all over the place. You want to really carefully think out your contact and account stages so they don't have to go back and change things later and manually try to move things around. It's a pain. So here's a quick example. So keep in mind that we're a service-based organization, right? We implement Apollo.io and we provide software and consulting around LinkedIn automation and things like that. So, this is what our sales process looks like, and that's what I want you to think about. Is Apollo should mirror your sales process to these stages, right? And so, if you've got a CRM already, then you've got the mid-funnel down already mapped out, most likely. But make sure Apollo matches that. But then, top of the funnel, we need to create all new stages. So, what we like to do is, when a contact is moved into our side of the database, they update the cold. So does that account. That Apollo does it automatically. But then when we start reaching out to them, they become a targeted contact, and so does the account. And that allows us to look back and say, how many accounts did we target last month? Or last 2 months, something like that. Contacted and information basically means we've contacted somebody and nothing's happened, or they've given us some kind of information that we can use later on to follow up with, and we leave those contacted. Follow up and interested, we've penetrated that account. We've gotten in, right? Hey, we're working on this project for 3 months from now. Give us a call in 2, something along those lines. And then you got discovery and opportunity. And from there, on our side, our job is to make put as many people in the family bucket as possible. And we define that as somebody who evangelizes your organization. They'll do anything for you, and you'll do anything for them. And friends and acquaintances are great. Not everybody makes it in the family bucket, but it's great when they do. So from there, our sales process looks like this: proposal, commit, client. Okay. If you're a software-based organization, I'm sure you have these things already mapped out where it's somebody signed up for a free trial, so they're a sign up, maybe they paid, now they're activated, and then you've got a certain number of users in the account, and you could have more, and you can have all those stages mapped out as well. Give yourself a chance to kind of land and expand. But with that, the other reason we're putting so much thought into this is because we're going to migrate data over from somewhere, most likely. You have data sitting in spreadsheets or in an email marketing platform or in your CRM. And Apollo should really be your single source of truth for all of your data. The reason we say that is because it's a live database, meaning it updates based on what happens in the world. Nothing better than that as a salesperson. Okay, just like we kind of mapped out there, here's our account, our contact stages. The couple things that you need to know about this. These kind of stoplights mean something, right? In progress, no category, succeeded, and kind of failed. What this allows you to do is group these together in the database when you search later. So give me all of the in progress stages so we can make progress, right? Or show me all of the completed ones so we know how many meetings we've gotten and how many people we've turned into friends or family or something along those lines. Triggers. Get a feel for these quickly. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but Apollo does this automatically and updates the contact automatically. The ones we love, replied, so it reads your inbox. If somebody replies to you, it says contacted, or replied, probably what your application says. But then also it reads our calendar and says if somebody's on our calendar, then update them to interested. Cool. Call triggers quickly. The only one we like to update based on is negative, right? Get me off your list. Not interested. Or unsubscribe maybe. Do not contact. Chances are they probably forgot who you are anyway, so just email them in 3 months. The reason we don't put anything for positive is because the calendar determines that, right? If there's a meeting on the calendar, then something really positive did happen. If not, then you're probably just blowing up your numbers for your boss. No. So within that, custom fields, we try to keep it really simple here at MaxQ because it's just, well, I'm a sales guy. I don't like data entry. It's not why I got into this. So I try to keep that pretty simple there. On the account side, same thing, right? Uh, Mirror that process that you create. Mirror your sales process with this. Last thing to keep in mind with the contacts, do not override with event triggers if contact is manually set to this stage. So if you take into account all of your triggers that you have that would update these contacts automatically, at what stages do you want them not to do anything? If a contact is interested, don't move them back to approaching, right? It doesn't make any sense. So just a couple things to keep in mind there. Now in the rules engine is where we map the two together. And so we'll start with target account. And listen, I know I'm flying here. I want you to start selling. I don't want anybody spending a ton of time standing this thing up and all this stuff. So we're kind of going quickly here and giving you just the basics of what you need. Anyways, if what we're saying here is give me an existing contact, you can choose account. It's a triggered event. When the contact stage updates to approaching, then we're going to want to update that account stage to targeted. Again, this helps us look back and say, how many accounts do we target this month? Okay. And again, you can get crazy with these rules. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with them. For example, if somebody says they're not interested today, wait 90 days and then reach out to them. Okay. Get crazy with these rules. Just reach out to us if you have questions about rules you should create, shouldn't create, that kind of stuff. What I'm going to show you quickly is kind of what these things do to help us out later as well, and these sequence rule sets, right? So if this is our default rule set that goes on a sequence, we can stop things from happening in the same account if there's a reply. We've kind of mapped some of that. The other thing that we have is create a phone call task. If they open the email, that's great. We don't ever track links here. Deliverability is the most important thing to us. If our email is not at the top of the inbox, we might as well just go home. And then how many days after the sequence is over do we mark them as unresponsive? So again, you go back and create a rule that says if a contact updates to unresponsive, wait 90 days, try it again, something along those lines. Or try a different medium of outreach. Put them in a marketing drip campaign or something. And again, down here we have all the contact and account stages where you wouldn't want to reach out to them. Right? So mark them as not sent. But you can force the email later. But basically what we're allowing ourselves to do is double check and not step on our own toes or somebody else's in our organization who might be reaching out. Really powerful organization. It prevents you from looking stupid, which when it comes to tools of volume, we could all use a little of that. So anyways, set that up the way you like. Schedules. Nope. You can set this up however you like. What we like to do is cast a wide net, from like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. for our sending times for emails. And the reason we do that is because we can look back at the data later on and see when is the best time to send. We've kind of broken it down by hour sending windows for these emails. And it keeps our sends lower, and it makes sure that we're not sending a massive amount of emails over a short period of time. And again, we kind of set that up in the mailbox settings, but it was kind of just a double measure to make sure we don't destroy our domain or anything like that. Okay. Let's touch on calls quickly. All of our dispositions are here. I mean, you really can't ask for much more than this when it comes to tracking our phone calls. We have our purposes, right? Most of ours are prospecting calls, our opportunity calls are typically planned, right? If we don't have the next meeting on the calendar, it's still really a prospecting call. And then you can add as many of these as you like if you want to track your calls in here. That's the gist of kind of setting up your contact and account stages right from the beginning so that you can be successful later on. Never have to come back and redo all of it and move contacts and try to figure out where they belong once you decide that the whole process has changed. If you have a CRM, we can show you how to integrate that with Apollo, depending on what you have. Some of you are going to have to use custom APIs. Some of you are going to use their native integrations, and that's great. But the idea is that those two systems should 100% be talking back and forth on some level. So I'm going to leave you guys with that for today. In the next one, we're going to show you how to set up the database so that you're really efficient and stay organized, and then you can start reaching out and doing some account research or however you want to play your next steps. But we want to make sure that the database is set up so that you can come in here and should be able to feed yourself with 100 leads in a day, in about an hour. In the description below, there's a bunch of resources for you, people to talk to if you need help. At Apollo, we have LinkedIn Automation at Chrysalis. We have Apollo Consulting at MaxQ. So yeah, everything you could ask for is in the description as far as getting some help on this stuff and getting yourself ready, set up to sell. So if you need anything, just let us know. And with that, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.